Hello and welcome back to the channel and to a very cold morning, which is very different from the last time I stood next to this car, which was in Los Angeles, because unbeknownst to most of the channel, I don't think I've ever mentioned this before, I was flown out by Ford, I think the only automotive media person, not just YouTube person, from the whole of the UK to LA to see the launch of this, but not just the launch, to actually spend 3 or 4 days getting paralytically drunk with the Ford people, but also talking to the people that have designed and planned this car from scratch. Because what a lot of people don't seem to have picked up on is that this was a concept. It was never designed to go into production. And then what I think happened is Ford thought, we haven't got any electric vehicles in production, let's make this. So the small design team of Mustang fanatics, and they were genuine fanatics, suddenly got thrust into something that Ford don't normally do. They normally have committee-led designs, lots of managerial tiers to say, yep, that's all right, focus groups, things like that. Cars for me that are designed by a small group of enthusiasts as well are always that much more interesting, that much better, more talking points, more little details that are true to the car. The lead designer, for example, who I think I got drunk with in an LA bar, I can't quite remember it, he had over 55 Mustangs throughout his life. His wife had 25 throughout her life. He proposed to her in a Mustang. He got taken away in the church in a Mustang. You get the point. He was a total nutter. The interior person that led that team, the guy that did the UI for the media interface, all of them had similar stories to tell. They were all proper nutters of Fords and especially Mustangs. So for me, that gives this something that a lot of other Euro boxes don't have, like the ID4 and so forth. It gives it a bit of personality, which for me is always lacking in cars. It is a gamble. It's called a Mustang. We'll touch on that later on in the video. But for me, it's got a good start in life because it's got, well, a bit of passion behind it, as I said before. However, it does need to work in the real world. We're taking it around for a week and seeing if it does work as a family car, because it is an SUV. You can clearly see that it needs to work as an SUV and of course as an electric car. So is this as good as I thought it was over 2 years ago, November 2019, which is when I first saw it. Right, now the looks of this I think will definitely divide opinion. I, for one, would like this on my driveway. You've got a lot of nods to Mustang, of course. You've got the pony badge, there are no Ford badges anywhere. You've got the Mustang lights, you've got these bulges here and here, all the way along. It's unnecessary, but I like unnecessary. It's interesting, it's something to talk about, something to look at. It doesn't look like any other SUV on the road, which is a brilliant thing. Personally, I prefer this in the GT version when it comes out. I'll put a picture up of it now because it's got like a fake grille of sorts. You can't tell on this car because it's black, but ultimately this is all the same colour throughout the car, and it does make it look a bit kind of slab fronted, as it were. You've got active aero down here to, you know, for cooling basically, just for the EV motors and batteries and stuff. So there's some clever technology, but overall in terms of looks, I think this is a relatively handsome car because I quite like the Mustang. So I guess if you hate the Mustang, you'll hate this. And again, I like cars that divide opinion because it's just not boring. The profile of this is, there's a bit of visual trickery going on. Notice these, I mean, it's quite difficult because again, it is a black car. You've got this black plastic here, which kind of curves up in the middle. And you've got this, what normally anyway, is two-tone roof. This bit is always black. So it kind of squishes the car in from a visual point of view to make it look more sporty, more coupe-esque. And again, I quite like the idea of the going for, but it is an SUV, so it is a big car. It does have the proportions very similar to an ID4, for example. But you know what? You've got these big bulges here. You've got this profile, which again, it kind of bulges out. It gives you something to look at. It's not just a slab of metal. Now the handles are a bit odd. You have to press that button. Well, normally you press the button. I'll try again. There we go. And this is the handle. I don't mind that at all. Why not? You've also got a keypad. The rear of the car, same button entry. Nice, good rear entry. I always like something with good rear entry. The wheels need to be bigger though. These are 18-inch, which normally on a car is quite big, but they kind of look a bit too titchy on this one. The charging port's on the front left side, and it'll go up to 150, again if you can find a charger that matches it. The rear for me is the most divisive angle. It's the one that I've had the most comments about in terms of, oh God, that's awful. But actually, I quite like it. It's clearly a Mustang. You've got the pony logo there, steeply raked rear screen. It's definitely got a coupe-esque appearance. They've tried to make it as sporty as possible, but it is an SUV. And for me, it does have it's a Mustang, but in the wrong aspect ratio, like you've changed your TV to the wrong setting. I like the lights. There is a bit of the old plastic going on here. You can't really tell because the car's really filthy, which takes me to the point of opening the boot. You can do the foot wavy thing, you can use the key fob, or you can press the button. The trouble is, when you get your fingers and put them in at the rear, you get your filthy fingers basically. You get to this boot, which is more than big enough for a family, but it is about 1/3 of the size in terms of litres of something like the ID4. So it's clearly not the biggest in its class. It's not quite as tall as I'd like. You do have this false floor that can house your cables and whatnot. And with the seats down, it's a decent load space. But it's no Enyaq or ID4 in terms of size, but it is big enough. Now, somebody did actually specifically ask when they saw I got this, that they wanted me to put something in the boot to see how big it is, a comparison. So just give me 2 seconds. Right, so I can clearly show you that if you take a mobile phone, that easily fits, and the game of operation. There you go, comparison for you. Job done. All right then, the inside. Let's start with the steering wheel. It feels premium enough. It's not amazing, but it's not bad. These nice, solid, good feel. Buttons all feel nice, decent quality. Well, I'll say okay quality. There's a few cheap plastic bits on the door down here. Decent door bin, but this does get in the way because this has got the spec'd up speakers, and the speakers carry on like a sound bar all along the dashboard there. This bit here, hard wearing I will say. You can clearly see a Tesla influenced screen. So let me turn that on, foot on brake. However, of course, you've got this here. It's not a virtual cockpit, but it is clear to see. And I do quite like having something in front of me, unlike things like Tesla Model 3s and things like that. This here now, which is a massive screen, but after a while, you know what, I've got used to that. I don't mind that at all. Around there, yeah, I think it can get away with it. Is it a full-size glove box, Harry?
Shall we see?
Yay! I mean, it's not massive, is it?
Yes, it's do you know what? That's not bad, is it?
No, it's okay.
You're going to get stuff in there.
Acceptable. It'll fit your gloves in the glove box.
It will.
Down here, you've got stuff for your phone, so that does wireless charging. You can keep your audio microphone there if you will as well. And you've got USB ports there. So there's lots of space here. This is where you change the gear selector. So you've got park, reverse, neutral, drive. L is effectively their version of a higher regen. You've got this nice kind of leather finish to it, which is better than the gloss black, should I say, that's around there. Cup holders, they're okay, good size. Nice build to it. It feels nice and sturdy. This armrest, it stays wherever you leave it, but not if you put your arm on it. It's well built. I quite like the feel of this, but you can't move it forwards or backwards. So there is a bit of a where do I put my hand, because this is quite far back and I'm used to it being there. But overall, it's not too bad. In here, you've got more storage that goes quite deep, 12 volt, and it can close off as well if you want to hide away your valuables. The seats are comfortable, I would say, very comfortable.
Yeah. The heated seats are really hot.
It is full lava spec to the point where you can't actually put it on full for very long.
You get the smell of bacon after a while.
You do, really. Now, this interface here, ultimately it doesn't matter because, as you can see, it does Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, so that's everything that anyone ever needs. However, if you use the Ford system itself, there are a few things that for me need a bit of a tweak. Normally I would want to just press that to go through 1, 2, 3 and off. For the heated seat, for example, you have to press the heated seat and then you have to pick which one you want. So one too many presses for a few functions.
It's a bit faffy.
Yeah, but ultimately it's not too bad. It's not a deal breaker. But ultimately the build quality is pretty solid.
I'd say it's really good, yeah.
I'm happy with it. And this one comes with the panoramic roof, which makes it nice and light and gives tons of headspace. And there's a lot of headspace in it.
I think you would want this.
Yeah, I wouldn't class it in the Volvo category, but I would put it in a good category personally.
Better than the ID range.
Okay, now the seat, as always, is in the position for someone who's well over 6 foot, and I have a ton of space. And you've got a nice flat load bay, not load bay, should I say, flat floor at the back, which obviously is because this is a proper EV from the ground up. 2 USB ports, one USB-C and USB
normal,
and a vent as well, of course. So you've got all the little stuff for the kids. Would you call this a 3-seater in the back?
I think you'd get 3 adults in it. I mean, look at this. 3 adults on a long journey, easy. And
lots of space
10,
too.
Yeah. And
do you know I get a bit of criticism for using the same clothing?
Really?
Yes, on the channel.
You've got hundreds of that top.
No. Brand new for Christmas.
Really?
Well, people were sick of me wearing a blue hoodie or the grey top, so I got another blue hoodie for Christmas.
That's brilliant.
Well, there you go. That'll shut them up. Now let's get the boring stuff out of the way. These come in 2 different battery sizes: 68 and 88 kilowatt hour usable capacity. For me, though,
they're big batteries. Even the small one's a big battery.
Very big battery. Yeah. So the smaller version of this is almost the same as a long range Model 3 or Y. I think they're falling into the trap of, we're not getting as much range out of this due to the weight.
Yeah, let's add more batteries at it. Yeah.
Which just compounds the problem even further. And handily enough, this car, which is nearly 18 months old, which for a press car is old, they've not reset the trip computer over the last 5,000 miles.
Oh, thank you. It's going to be hammered a lot, isn't it?
It's going to be hammered, but most of the driving, the mileage anyway, will be done by the delivery drivers taking it to someone. The guy came from Portsmouth to bring this to North Yorkshire. Wow. And that's just going to be a relatively efficient journey. So I think this is below average for what you would get out there. Yeah,
a massive amount.
But over the last 5,000 miles, 2.4 miles per kilowatt hour.
Bad. So that's not brilliant.
That is poor. You know what? Compared to Tesla, they're well behind, but compared to other EVs,
it's on par.
It's about the same because, again, it's just the let's throw more batteries at it thing.
It's heavy. How much does it weigh? 2 ton.
Yeah.
Right. So we just throw some more batteries at it. Yeah. Let's just throw some more batteries at it.
Polestar 2. The XC40, all that sort of stuff. Very, very heavy. It does come in lots of flavours. You can get 2 or 4-wheel drive version in both battery sizes. Yeah. So there's lots of how many miles
It'd be nice just to do the Tesla, wouldn't it? There's your standard one. There's your one if you want to go a long way. And there's your sporty one.
So for me, it's whichever one you get. I'll just say you'll probably average about 2.8 miles per kilowatt hour.
As I said, that's probably fair, yeah.
Multiply that by whatever the
battery size
is, and you'll get a rough average. These are rough averages. No, hang on. And here we highlight the fact that the car is pretty big.
It's like the size of a van.
It is pretty big, isn't it? Well, you could say thanks, love.
No one says thank you.
I hate it when people do that. It really gets on my nerves. All you have to do is put your hand up.
Thanks.
Does it really take so much?
I think it's this car though. We've had several of that over here. It's too big a car to be taken over here.
Could him in his Mustang.
Compensating for something.
Handling. I
slipping.
Whoa, hello. I mean, this is what I would consider perfect driving conditions. Oh, shit. I know this road like the back of my hand. That is the first car that has done that there.
And then there's the back of my hand.
I've got hair there. But no, it's unnerving when you push it.
The tyres are too thin.
They are, yeah. It's just
the back end just comes out, doesn't it?
No. And we've tried it with different modes, lots of things on and off.
Do you know, there's no communication between where it's going to lose grip and when it loses grip.
I think you've just got that there. It's the communication between this and the driver.
Well, there isn't any.
Yeah. I mean, on uneven roads, this thing, it goes like that. The steering wheel literally wobbles. I feel like I'm fighting lane assist, even when it's off.
Yeah. There's something else there, isn't there?
It's like this. I mean, we'll try and get it on camera at some point, and I'll insert it in now. But it wiggles.
The steering for me is the sensation of when you're running in a dream, but it's like you're running in water. Do you know? It's like it just doesn't. It's like driving through syrup.
How many cars have you had over the last 5 years at Ford?
I've had 2, and both of them have been STs: the Fiesta, this Mach-7, and the Mach-3 Focus. One after another.
And certainly the Fiesta is probably one of the best hot hatches ever made.
Yeah.
Certainly in modern times, for its handling and its communication. Yeah. So this is completely the opposite way. I can understand and get away with that, I suppose, if you think, well, it's an SUV. it's
why have
not
350 brake horsepower?
Why have so much power that it
can't
can't
control.
use? Yes.
I think you're right. I think the sportier model that they're bringing out is going to address all these.
Yeah.
The biggest concern for me is just those tiny tyres on this car. The 225s.
60 profile.
So, yeah, that's why it's all over the place.
Yeah.
And why have a 60 profile on something that's a Mustang? Motorways would be fine.
Yeah.
But over the tops, as it were, the country lanes, it's absolutely all over the place.
So if you're in somewhere like Los Angeles, it'll work.
Yeah.
Well, I did ask a good friend at Ford of mine. He's called Bill. Bill Ford. In fact, here's a picture of Bill Ford and me.
Whee!
I did ask him why Mustang, because it's a bold choice, isn't it? Quite frankly.
Well,
and he said, well, ultimately, it's because we're making a statement that we are taking EV seriously. We wouldn't put a Mustang badge on something which was just not a concept car, a compliance car.
Yeah.
This is going to keep the V8 Mustang going for longer
because of the offset.
Because it exists. Like people say the Taycan keeps the 911 going for longer because of the average CO2 sort of thing. My expectation is here for a Mustang in terms of handling and performance, and it's not giving me that.
This could have been a Ford something, and then there could have been a Mustang version of it.
Yeah. So the GT version of the Mustang should be the only one with a Mustang badge.
Has Mustang become Cupra?
Oh God.
It should be really powerful. Why are we getting this? It's become a trim level. There's a lack of communication between me, I'm going to say here, but between me and the car. The brakes.
The brakes are not progressive at all.
I can't find the bite at all on the brakes.
It gives you regen,
rip your face off. Well, I think they just need to get the guys in the RS department to sort the steering out.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's just programming.
Is it American-based steering and they've not Europeanified it? Because we do have different tastes.
We do. It's like steering through porridge, though.
It is, yeah. I mean, is it enough to put you off buying this car? If you were in the market for this sort of level of price.
Do you know? It's enough to make me think seriously about it. I don't know if
it's not a red flag, but it's a flag.
It's a big flag. It's a big flag. I don't know if, like you said, probably the longer I had it, the more peed off I'd get with it, to the point where it may be I'm going to have to change this for something that doesn't bug me so much.
However, it is probably fair to balance that out with
everything else.
If we stuck Lorna in here, or your missus, or basically anyone who doesn't use the word handling when describing a car.
Yeah, they're not going to.
I don't think they'd be bothered.
They won't even notice.
So I think this is something that will annoy an enthusiastic sort of like car person, but if you just want an A to B or a car to do the work, commute, school, whatever in, I think you'd probably be fine with it.
Yeah.
As a family car, it's actually pretty good.
Well, as a family car though, does it need 350 brake?
It is better in a smaller battery version again. We've said this with the Enyaq, we've said this with the Volkswagen stuff and a few others, because once you get to what is not far off 3-figure kilowatt hours in battery, nearly 100 kilowatt hours in total capacity, that's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Mustang Mach-E or ID4, because that's a good competitor. You could get a cheaper ID4, but in like-for-like pricing.
I think if I bought an ID4, pretty much you're just going to take yourself out the back into the woods and shoot yourself.
Because of its blandness, it's a practical, good car. It's just
ID3.
Not interesting, is it?
If I want an SUV that's got a lot of space to transport the family, I'm getting the Enyaq.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? It
looks okay.
The interior's nice.
You're not disappointed in any really way.
No,
They're not promising you anything you're not getting.
It's a can of beans. I open it up. It's a can of beans.
Yeah. All right then. Let's up the ante a bit. EV6/Ioniq 5 or this.
I would go for the EV6/Ioniq 5. I think the thing that gets for me is the looks of this. It's got that historic sort of
heritage.
Yeah.
And we are quite superficial, aren't we, as well?
Yeah, we are, yeah.
Anyway, it's all about looks, as you can tell.
Yeah, as you can certainly tell.
Tesla Model Y.
Model Y and you never want to say the charging network, but for the charging network.
It's got more power.
And it's going to hold its value a lot better.
And it's more practical, I think.
Yeah. And it's a Tesla at the end of the day, isn't it?
All right then. The cheapest version of this at just over 40 grand, or a car of equivalent range, and it's a bit smaller, granted, but costs about 28 grand. So you're saving 12
Quite
to
a lot.
13 grand.
Yeah.
The MG ZS long range.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it?
They're very different cars, but they're
yeah.
also very similar cars in terms of range, SUV.
I would probably, if this...
It's 13 grand.
If this was the second family car,
Yeah.
you know, the load lugger, I'd probably go for the MG and save myself some money.
And then spend that 13 grand on a fun car.
Yeah. On the weekend toy.
On a toy, yeah.
I think the thing is, it's not a bad car, it just feels like a big compromise.
It's a good car, but it is one that doesn't meet expectations for me personally.
Not of a Mustang. If it wasn't...
I feel like I'm in a trampoline now. The slower Polestar 2.
the slow,
Yeah, as in the cheaper end Polestar 2.
I would
or
still
the
have a Polestar 2. It looks, in my mind, although this looks very much like a Mustang, the Polestar 2 looks very...
See, he had a good look at this. It does attract attention.
Oh, yeah.
As in, ooh,
What is
that's
that?
different, that's nice.
Visually, I do.
I like
I don't
this.
like SUVs, but visually, as an SUV, I really like this.
Is this the best looking SUV if we don't class the Polestar 2 as an SUV?
In my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better than the ID4, it's better than the Enyaq, it's better than the, Kia EV6?
Ooh.
Borderline.
Do you know what? One's a nod to the future, one's a nod to the past.
If this was a Ford Flobberdobber
Yeah.
EV, I think we'd be going, you know what? Apart from the fact it's 40 to 55 grand,
It's all right, this.
pretty good, is this? Yeah. So maybe that's the worst thing. It's not that they've used the Mustang name, it's that it gives you expectation that it cannot meet.
Expectations of grandeur of a
Yeah.
Mustang. You've already you've pre-programmed your brain into what it should be.
Yeah.
It's a breath of fresh air in terms of its design, the way it looks, the interiors, as expected.
Yeah.
Everything meets my expectations, apart from
The handling. Yeah.
and the steering.
And then, as always, I appreciate everybody that's watched this, and members got this early. They get members only videos, and do you know what? For what this membership can cost you at 99p, we would be thrown out of the pound shop.
Yeah,
We're too cheap
we're
for
too
the pound
cheap
shop.
for the pound shop.
I
What
mean-
can you get for 99p nowadays?
Exactly. Well, you can get lots of content.
You can.
You know what? Just click like, subscribe. Let's just end it normally.
Yeah.
I'm sick of saying all that membership stuff.
Yeah.
But
If
please
you-
do become a member. It does
does
help.
help,
It really
yeah.
genuinely does help. So, that's it. Here's the Mustang. And let's hope the facelift sorts the problems out.
Let's hope it does, yeah.
So, thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.
Cheers. Bye.